We're doing a deep dive into episode 390, Pepper Growing Basics. Here, you're going to get a chance to see pictures of and get a longer description of all the great sweet and warm and a few hot peppers that Gail Pothour and I talked about on episode 390 entitled Pepper Growing Basics. You can go back and listen to that entire episode if you'd like. It's episode 390. But here, let's hear what Gail had to say and what I had to say for that matter about our favorite pepper varieties that you ought to be trying yourself. First up, here's our chat with Gail. All right, let's get to the good stuff. The peppers to grow, the varieties of peppers that you may want to grow. Some people like sweet peppers. Some people like warmer peppers. Some people like hot peppers. The choice is yours, folks. The choice is yours. I've grown plenty of peppers over the years, of ranging from 0 Scoville units up to several thousand Scoville units. Scoville unit is a heat measurement system devised back in the early 20th century that allegedly measured heat. I think from what I was reading about it, it was really more of a case of human survival from people who had to go through all those tastings.
As I had mentioned, my tongue does not like the heat, so I tend to not grow anything with much heat at all. They're mostly sweet. But I do like to grow a jalapeno occasionally, just to help spice up a dish, and my husband does like chilies. So the one that I like to grow every year is called Potapeno. It's a All-America Selection winner. It's good for a container. I grow it in a hanging basket, and it has little 1 to 2 inch, maybe not even that big, of jalapeno peppers, typical jalapeno heat. Then I also grow one for myself called Tricked You. So it's a good size jalapeno that has no heat. So it's been bred where the heat has been taken out of it. But yeah, I really enjoy growing a variety of different types of sweet peppers, whether they're small pimentos, whether they're great, big, huge ones like Red Impact is one that we've been growing the last year or two. It's an All-America Selection winner, and it's huge, red, thick-walled, about 6 inches long. Or I like sheep nose pimento that's a tiny little 1 to 2 inch flattened, thick-walled. So a real variety and different colors. They tend to almost always start out green or pale yellow or even purple in the green stage, but they then tend to ripen either orange or red. So yeah, I do love sweet bells.
I'm very fond of sweet peppers, as is my wife, and we have them during the summer and through the early fall, probably as a side dish to dinner just about every night. And why not? Some of my favorites over the years, I think, as long as I've been growing peppers, I think the two that have been in the garden for decades are Flamingo and Gypsy. They're very similar looking. Flamingo is a harder one to find. I think only Harris Seed Company carries it.
Never heard of Flamingo. Wow. Okay, I'll have to look for it.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's only available from Harris Seed, but it's very similar to Gypsy. And I really like the Gypsy pepper, too, because of the wonderful color changes that the Gypsy goes through.
Mm-hmm. And I grow Gypsy every year as well. It's a All-America Selection winner from the early 80s, I think. So it's been around a long time. I like it because it's a little smaller. Often I don't want to use a huge bell in a recipe. I maybe use a piece of it. Well, with Gypsy, it's small enough I can use the whole pepper, and they're kind of pointed and they're cute, and they mature from kind of a greenish yellow to a kind of a deep reddish orange, and we grow it every year. It's a great pepper.
One of the peppers that has a little bit of heat to it, and it too was an All-America Selections winner, as are a lot of my favorites. And so that's always a good chart to go to. If you go to All-America Selections and look at their list of pepper winners, you're sure to find one you're going to like. But the Mariachi, which has only a little bit of heat, I'd call it more of a spice than a heat, about 500 to 600 Scoville units. It's a cone-shaped pepper, about 4 inches long, 2 inches wide. It starts out green, then ripens through yellow to rose-colored to red. And it can get hotter if the weather gets hotter, too. So keep that in mind.
Right. I think we grew that a number of years ago out at the Fair Oaks Horticulture Center. It hasn't been on my radar lately. I think I should look it up. But one of them that we're growing this year that's an All-America Selection winner that does have just a little bit of heat It's a hybrid pepper called Mexibel. So it looks like the typical blocky bell pepper, but it's small, probably 2 inches in diameter, maybe. And it's supposed to have a Scoville unit of 100 to 1,000. So there's always a range on those Scoville heat units. So it does have a little bit of heat, but we haven't grown that one in quite some time. So that's one we're going to do this year.
I think my favorite pepper, though, of all time has to be the tequila, which is it's an amethyst pepper from Holland. It's lavender in color. It not only has that beautiful purple-like color, but the aroma of it is just wonderful. The fruit sets early. It's a blocky bell type, about 4.5 inches deep, 4 inches across. It begins as lavender and stays that color for a long time, and then it fades to a lovely orange and then finally to red. And it is certainly edible through all those stages. Very attractive, very virus resistant as well, tolerant to blossom end rot. It ripens in about 72 days, and I am always planting tequila.
Well, I grew years ago when I first started growing peppers, and it's another one that fell off my radar until this year when we were trying to come up with the varieties that would grow at the Fair Oaks Horticulture Center. Tequila somehow rose to the top, and so I bought seeds for that. So we are going to be growing it this year, and you're right, it's a beautiful pepper. There are times when it has kind of a goldy and purple coloration all at the same time. So I had forgotten about it, so I'm glad we're growing it again this year.
Another one of my favorites, and I used to hold pepper parties. This is how crazy I was. We would invite a house full of people or a yard full of people, really. And we would lay out all the peppers and all the samples, and people could sample it. And usually there was alcohol involved, but what else is new? But it was a wonderful time. It was a wonderful party. The old Farmer Fred pepper parties. The one that would win year after year in this amateur competition was one with a little bit of heat, about 500 to 1,000 Scoville units, the New Mex Joey Parker. And that is one that I've stuck with over the years as well.
So your pepper tasting party was not just sweet peppers. There were some that had some heat.
And they were all clearly labeled.
So if they were really, really hot, they would know to avoid it if they couldn't eat those. That sounds pretty fun. I've had melon tastings and tomato tastings, but it has not occurred to me to have a pepper tasting.
Oh, yeah, they're quite fun. But here's a pro tip for you. If you eat a hot pepper accidentally and it starts to burn your mouth, don't drink water. You want
milk.
Whole milk, by the way.
Whole milk. Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Not non-fat milk, but whole milk or whole ice cream. So no Dairy Queen.
I was going to say, would vanilla ice cream work? That would work for me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that will, stop the heat from spreading. But the New Mex Joey Parker, it's about 6 to 7 inches long. The very thick fleshed, starts out green, turns to red. And again, it's mild to medium in flavor, but it ripens earlier than most other peppers, about 65 days. And again, if you're making salsas or homemade nachos, which at a pepper party, you're going to have a lot of nachos. The New Mex Joey Parker was very popular.
So is that kind of an Anaheim type? Long and skinny?
Yeah, it's less heat than an Anaheim. But about the same shape. There's a lot of New Mex peppers, but the New Mex Joey Parker was a winner, as was the New Mex Big Jim over the time. By the way, speaking of Jim, the Jimmy Nardello, which is just an excellent Italian pepper, is one of my favorites for grilling. They get about 10 to 12 inches long, and the plants get about 2 feet tall. That they go from bright green to red, and they fry up beautifully. It's a wonderful frying pepper. It was originally from the Basilicata region of South Italy.
That is one that we tend to grow every year. And sheep-nosed pimento.
What else do you grow at the Fair Oaks Horticulture Center?
You mean peppers?
For peppers.
For peppers. Well, this year we're growing, besides the gypsy and the tequila, we're also doing a couple of other All-America Selection winners. Orange Blaze is one. It's a nice orange blocky bell pepper. Red Impact, that I mentioned earlier. It's that long 6-inch thick-walled pepper. Candy cane chocolate cherry would be beautiful in an edible landscape. So it's a real attractive looking plant. So not only are the leaves variegated green and kind of a cream colored, but even the peppers are red with kind of chocolatey stripes on it. It's a kind of thin-walled, so it's not a thick-walled pepper, but it's just beautiful. And then the new one for us is a new All-America Selection winner called Pick and Pop Yellow. And it's short, probably about 18, 20 inches tall, so it would be good in a container. Bright yellow, kind of elongated, pointed peppers. And I would say kind of personal size.
Do you ever grow hot peppers at the Fair Oaks Horticulture Center?
We're doing 4 really hot chilies. I think we're going to grow them in a container. And one is called the Orange Habanero, Trinidad Scorpion, Ghost Pepper, and Jalafuego. The hottest one would be the Trinidad Scorpion, which is 1.2 million Scoville heat units. So we've got some pretty hot ones we're going to be growing out there. Give them a try. Some people really like their hot chilies.
Whoa, do you have an armed guard standing next to them?
Yeah, I'm not sure how we're going to keep people from snatching them and, popping them in their mouth.
Oh, don't even say that. Yeah.
I know.
Wow.
We have a master gardener who really likes to grow chilies, and so we like to showcase a lot of different things. So we'll have a big container that's got these really hot chilies in it.
I have grown Jalafuego. I like it. It's good. But my favorite, I guess you'd call it a hot pepper. It depends on your taste buds, of course. It's called Inferno, which is actually an Hungarian wax pepper, but it has enough heat to let you know, yeah, I'm hot, but it also has this wonderful taste that still comes through. In a lot of situations where you're eating hot peppers, all you get is heat. But if you want some taste to go along with that heat, try the Inferno. And again, it's a Hungarian hot wax pepper variety, about 5,000 to 10,000 Scoville units.
Well, I know that the All-America Selection winner several years ago, they had a habanero that had no heat. It was the first time I was able to actually taste a habanero because it's been too hot for me to taste. But roulette is a no heat variety of habanero. So I was able to taste that citrusy flavor that it has. So it was quite interesting because having never had a habanero before, I quite like the flavor. I can do without the heat, but having this variety that has no heat really was amazing to me.
So if you want to be assured, folks, of zero heat, if you're really adamant about your sweet peppers, well, stick with your bell peppers, the Yolo Wonder, the California Wonder. I like some Italian ones like Corno di Toro. Those are excellent 0 Scoville unit varieties to grow. There's a lot of sweet peppers out there. And again, if you want slightly hot peppers, I would tend to go with the New Mex Joey Parker. You like that roulette pepper that had no heat. There is a
habanero with no heat, right?
Yeah, there's a tricky one out there called shishito, and
oh yeah, I grew that one year, and I think they say 1 out of 10 will be spicy. Well, every one of mine was spicy, so I don't know. When you eat one that doesn't have the heat in it, it's very tasty. Mm-hmm. It's really a delicious pepper. It's just you are playing roulette on which one is going to be hot.
I finally got some insight into this shishito mystery, why half the plant might be sweet and the other half might be hot. It has to do with the age and the direction of the fruit. If the shishito pepper is facing south or west, it's getting more heat. It's becoming a hotter pepper. Also, the older the pepper gets, if it turns from green to red, the red pepper has a good chance of being hot. Whereas the green shishito on the north side of the plant probably will not have the heat.
Good to know. So I wonder if you grew a shishito pepper plant in a little less sun. It sounds like a good experiment to try to see how that would work. But I know they need sun to develop the fruit, but maybe in an area of the yard that gets a little less sun. That could be kind of fun to try. Yeah, and I'm thinking of a place it's actually on the east side of my house, and I have a stock tank there where I grow something every year, and it would get sun until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so it would get the morning sun. That'd be fun to try. I think I'll put that on my list to do.
There you go. Just keep that milk and ice cream handy. Back in February, we were talking with Diane Blazek. She's the executive director for the All-America Selections winners. And that was for episode 379, talking about the 2025 AAS winners. But we took a little scenic bypass, and we talked about not so hot peppers for people who don't really want a hot pepper, but they want something with a bit of spice, a bit of warmth. What are the best selections for those? And here's what myself and Diane Blazek had to say. So let's talk about some of the AAS winners over the years that would fit that category of low heat peppers. And in my own research, besides the poblano, I found things like the cubanelle and the aje dulce, also known as the cachucha pepper, which are pretty low. But you had one not too long ago that was an AAS winner that I really liked. I remember growing it, called the Mexibel.
Yeah, the Mexibel. It actually looks more like a sweet pepper, but does have just a little bit of heat. And it's a nice red pepper, if you let it mature to red. So that would be a good choice. I think the mariachi would be another one. Now, that one does go up to maybe 1,500 or 2,000. Now, that's not a bell pepper. That's a little conical shaped pepper, but that would be a good alternative. I was pleasantly surprised. The holy mole, when you hear holy, you might think that it's got a lot of heat to it, but it actually, I think it was it's under 1,000 Scoville units too. So that might be a good alternative.
And some others that I've grown over the years that I've really liked that were AAS winners that have a little bit of heat, not too much. The Potapeño, which is, I think, about 1,000 Scoville units.
Right. It is. And this one's really cool. The reason it's called Potapeño, it is a jalapeno pepper, but it is bred to be very compact. So it grows well in containers or hanging baskets. But yeah, I like that one too, because it is a little bit more of a mild jalapeno.
Some others that I looked in one particular catalog, and they did classify their peppers in their catalog as sweet, mildly hot, and really hot. And among the mildly hot ones that were AAS winners that they listed were Mad Hatter, Roulette Habanero, Hot Sunset, and Cajun Belle. Now, all of those sound like they're a lot hotter than just a little bit of heat.
Yeah, exactly. I've grown ají rico and tried it. I think they're describing it as warm. And I didn't have the exact Scoville units on that, but I would say that's on the higher end of it. Mad Hatter, I didn't think it had much heat in at all. It talks about that one with a citrusy flavor. So I'm thinking it's more like a citrusy hot pepper that's hardly hot at all.
Okay. And that one is from, I believe, Bolivia and Peru.
The Bacatum type peppers are from South America. So yeah, the ají rico and the Mad Hatter are both used in a lot of South American dishes.
The one I mentioned called Hot Sunset, that has a red flag of a name for me, but it says that it's only about 600 Scoville units. So they describe it as a delicious spicy heat.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good one to have in there. And it's more like a banana pepper, just to kind of describe the shape and everything.
So among the winners over the years, you can find a palette of colors and different spicinesses, if there is such a word, among your mildly hot pepper selections if you have recipes or you want it to look nice in a salad or something like that. So just be aware that if the plant is stressed, if there is a drought, if there is a lack of water, if you didn't feed it properly, if it maybe didn't get enough sun, anything that may cause it stress could, and especially later in the season too, as it grows, that heat level could go up.
Exactly. Grower beware, put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. And another one with a name that sounds like it would be really hot, but really it's more mild than really hot, is called Roulette Habanero. Habaneros are fairly hot peppers, but this one is not.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. I mean, with the name like roulette, you would think you're taking a chance, but you really aren't. This one has no heat, so it's got all that flavor, which if you can stand the heat and taste the flavor of a roulette of habanero, this one gives you the flavor without the heat. So it's kind of a unique adventure for somebody to breed a hot pepper that doesn't have the spiciness. It just has the flavor.
Now, we should clarify, it does have a little bit of heat. According to one catalog I'm looking at, it has 100 Scoville heat units.
Yeah, and that's barely discernible, I would think.
Right. So again, that was the roulette habanero. And again, go to their website, allamericaselections.org. We'll have a link to it in the show notes as well. And just start browsing through not only their 2025 winners, but all their past winners too. And you can do it by variety. So if you're looking for a certain color, a certain heat, or a certain shape, you'll probably find it there, because after more than 90 years of trialing, there's going to be a lot there at the website.
Exactly. Now, we have done one thing to help people, and we're actually got another one coming up. So I'll give you a little sneak preview on that. But we used to list every single winner on our website, no matter if they were still commercially available or not. And we got too many complaints. They're like, well, why do you feature this if we can't buy it anymore? So we are slowly taking off the ones that have been removed from the market. So as you say, when you go on and search, there's a lot there. There's still a lot there. And all of those now are either currently available or will be very shortly. So that's one thing. Mm-hmm. And then also on each AAS winner there's a little button on it that says where to buy. And then there's a drop down of online seed retailers. So keep in mind, a lot of these are also available in seed packets, at your stores, at your local hardware, garden center, mass merchant. But we also link to a lot of online seed sources who are carrying those varieties. So we're trying to make it very easy for you to find the AAS winners. And we're launching a new website this fall, and it will be even easier for us. I mean, I don't know if anybody cares, but it's even easier for us to update those where to buy buttons. So everything will be a lot more up to date as far as where to purchase them.
There's a full-time job. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And we're trying to make it a part-time job.
Well,